The camera have turned off, so I will start here. Yes, as soon the sweater covered his head and body, Jack felt the sealskin melt into his own. His chest expanded to the size of the barrel. His arms and legs vanished, and slippers took their face, as soon shut to the water like a torpedo, and moved his front slippers. He turned right or left. When he moved his back slippers, he zoomed forward. Jack rolled the seawall and out of the schools of fish and juggles into a seagrass. He dove down to a murky deep end of the cove, then he shot back up to the surface. In his smooth, still body, he could swim 10 times faster than he ever had in his human body. Then he could see and hear perfectly. The rose and fell toward the deep. 2 seals appeared beside him. Bubbles came from their mouths. They have the goggling, clickling sounds. Jack could understand exactly what their seal sounds meant. Hey, Jack, it's me. Tis me too. Hi, guys. Jack called to Jack and Teddy. He heard trilling sounds on his other side. He saw third seal. It was Kathleen swimming gracefully toward him. Hello, Jack. Hello, Kathleen. Jack clicked her back to her. He wanted to tell the Silky how much fun he was having, but when he opened his mouth, a school of tiny fish swam down his throat. Before he could knew it, Jack had swallowed all the fish whole. But he didn't mind. He laughed a seal laugh full of bubbles. Onward, Kathleen! Clicked Teddy, leads us to the jellyfish cave. Oh, there's a big cave, but there's a lot of jellyfish inside, so it calls a jellyfish cave. Chapter 8, Clock of the Old Grey Ghost. Grey Ghost, the jellyfish look like a ghost, and it's kind of gray at this picture, so it's called a grey ghost. Okay, now let's start reading at chapter 8 now. The 4 seals padded with ease through the sunlit waters in the silky cove onto the jellyfish cave. The water in the cave was cold and murky, but his seal's body, Jack, was warm. With his seal's eyes, he could see clearly, and they swam farther and farther into the cave. Jellyfish began to appear. At first there was just a few, and there was hundreds and thousands. Pink jellyfish, purple jellyfish, orange and chocolate-colored jellyfish, and as big umbrellas and as small as pennies, jellyfish shaped like bells, circles and approaches, mushrooms, cannonballs, jellyfish as bright as a candle flames into the jellyfish as clear as glass. Some of the jellyfish plunged in out of the swam. Others silently dripped by, their long stealing into tentacles trailing behind them as Jack swam out among the jellyfish. He wasn't afraid at all. He thought the sealskin protected him completely. Finally, Kathleen and Jack and Teddy and Annie thought the narrow passage of the cave into the milky green waters onto the third cove. The 4 seals poked their heads above into the surface of the water, took a deep gulps of air. The Jack whiskers twitched as he looked at the round of the covey storm coast. The cove was completely silent. It was lit with a hazy, warm light. The water was flat, clamped to the single reef, and circling with the cove was strange green hills of the glimmering the afternoon light. Snow-clad mountains loom above the hills. Jack could see the tree with the magic treehouse on the distant sea cliff. Climb onto the rocks and dry off, Kathleen barked. They all swam to the small rocky island in the middle of the cove. He hoisted above Lorry, a T-shape out of the water. He plucked out beside and the other pole groaned. The seal body had felt so grateful on the water, now felt heavy and awkward. Jack's skin began to feel tighter and tighter into a soft light. Almost before he knew it, the skin had slipped out of his body like an old wrapping paper. It was a human again, lying on a rock on its shirts and t-shirts. He sat up and pushed it into his glasses into place. "That was great," said Annie. Jack looked at her. The same magic had happened to Annie and the others. All was human again. "Yeah, it was," Jack said happily. It looked around. "And I don't see any signs of the winter storm here." "No, but still, I do not like the looks of this place," said Teddy. The boys' soccer frowned as they peered around the cove. "It gives me the quivers." Jack glanced anxiously at Teddy. If Teddy was afraid, something must be wrong. Teddy never acted as if he were afraid of anything. "Well, the days wears on," Teddy said, looking up at the sinking sun. "And let's hurry ashore to find a sword so we can leave this cove as quickly as possible." "I fear our search may be different," said Kathleen. "Look." The dense gray fog was rolling down from the mountains. They all had watched the fog hide into the sea cliff. Just looked like they had landed. Within sometimes into the fog, completely covered with gray hills, and if it swooped over to the winters of the wars of the cove. "Oh dear," said Kathleen, "the clock of the gray ghost is upon us." "The clock of the old gray ghost?" said Annie. "Aye, that's just a silky coal, a very thick fog," said Kathleen. "And that is the line of the Merlin mine," said Annie. "Dive nipped to the clock of the old grey ghost." Jack breathed a sigh of relief. "Grey ghost? Oh, it's not a jellyfish. It's a ghost. Grey ghost. It's a storm kind of something. So the fog is coming here at this country, so it might be very hard to play at this magic trance and do all of the missions. But they need to do all of the missions and go home again. And Jack breath, yeah, wasn't a ghost at all. It was just the other name of the fog. "So I guess we just go ashore and look for the sword of the other fog somewhere," he said. "The mom says he died," said Teddy. "So perhaps we don't go ashore at all." "All right," said Jack. "Does that mean we get turned back to the steels?" Shivering the cold fog with an eager slip back into his warm, protective seal body. "I fear we can and all be steals," Kathleen said. "For how could we gasp of a heavy sword with our slippers? You and Teddy beat the seals, and then I look for a sword," said Teddy. "And Jack and I can swim for a sword," said Annie. "Jack, yeah, down for grab it after you show us where it is." Jack was about to say it would rather be a seal, but before they could speak, Teddy typed it up. "Excellent plan," he said. "Indeed," said Kathleen. "Your friends are very brave." She turned and smiled warmly at Jack. "Oh, sure, no problem," he said. "Let us make haste," said Teddy, hiding by the fog, and Kathleen pulled their sealskins back on. A moment later, Jack heard Teddy called out. "Farewell, friends," said Kathleen, spoke their silky spell, and the words were followed by two splashes. "What do we do now?" Jack said. "Wait for them to find a sword," said Annie. "I hope they hurry," said Jack, shivering. "Me too," said Annie. They listened for a bulking of the seals and listened and listened. I wonder what time it is, said Annie. It's impossible to tell, said said Jack. They'd better. Shh, said Jack. They heard a faint still bark and another, but a Dick thought he can't tell where the birds are coming from. Where are they? They said, I think they're over there, said Annie. Splash! Annie jumped in, and Jack couldn't see her in the fog. Annie, where are you? He shouted. Here! Annie yelled through the ghostly mist. Come on! Jack put his glasses down the rocks, and he slowly lowered himself into the water. As he stared after Annie, his human body felt thin and furred complete his powerful seal body. He couldn't swim nearly as fast. He couldn't hold his breath underwater for nearly long, and he was freezing cold. The seabirds grew louder and louder. Brr, brr! Jack didn't see their two friends until he nearly bumped into them. Teddy and Kathleen are seeming tight circles, barking excellently. Oh, did you find the sword? Annie shouted at them. Is it here? The seals dived into the water. Jack and Annie took a deep breath and followed. The seals swam quickly into the sandy bottom of the cove. They circled a shimmering object sticking out of the sand. It was a golden handle of the sword. I think they have found some swords, so they can go home now, I think. But there's no more nice missions. I think they have more missions, like the snake. But tomorrow will be tomorrow we'll be reading new book with a new stories, because tomorrow we'll be reading new number of the books, okay? So at today's night, I will read all of these stories, last stories, okay? Now it's chapter 9, The Sword of Light. But just if you want to hear more stories, just buy this book and read this all, okay? It might be very fun part of the story because the very big snake is coming out. Now, did you have fun? Your English country will come back with this book. Another book, another number of the book, and new stories too. Now, please subscribe my YouTube if you like my YouTube. And bye-bye, everybody. Have a nice day. Bye!